Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Bengal Magazine. We're going to talk soccer today, and starting off will be Mark Howlett, the men's coach of the Bengals, and Mark is bringing along William Banahene. Want to make sure that's right. I'll probably mispronounce it a couple times. His outstanding goalkeeper. And then Nick DeMarsh, head coach of women's soccer, joins us. And Nick is bringing along Jenna Smolinski, the midfielder, a junior from Hamburg. And then guess what? We're talking basketball already. That's because Kevin Clifford, our new women's basketball coach, has joined us. And Kevin's going to be in studio to talk about himself and the upcoming season. We'll have Bengal update and, of course, the Tim Hortons Athlete of the Week. So stay with us, sit back, and enjoy the show. Next up, men's soccer. I'll tell you, you know the season's going well because everybody's smiling right now with men's soccer. It's fabulous. Mark Howlett joins us, the head coach of the Bengals, and William Banahene.
Yep.
Is that a little better, William?
Yeah, that's
and
perfect.
Don't call me Will, call me William. That's just a little inside joke. Mark, first time on the show, give us a little makeup of this year's team.
Athletic, we've got speed. We're not super experienced as far as seniors and juniors. We've only got one senior on the roster, so that's very nice. We return pretty much everybody for next year. So
Okay.
it's a great mentality in the locker room right now, and a focus about what we can do this year.
Well, certainly, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, but winning breeds great confidence, and you feel that already?
Feel that already, and what's nice is they haven't got too overconfident. We're still doing what we've done from the start. We're still working very hard. We're still trying to tweak some of the weaknesses we've seen. So there's still a growing period,
Okay.
but obviously it helps.
William, you're in the locker room, obviously, as a student athlete. Do you sense that confidence in what's happening?
Yeah, I think that we all we know the talents of our team,
Okay.
but we know that we still have to get the job done at the end of the day. So we're still just pushing, but we know what we can do at the end of this year.
You talked a little bit about maybe the lack of experience, and yet you get off to the best start in almost 35 years, best start since 1983, at 4-0-1. Was that kind of a surprise to you, Coach, that the team got off to that kind of start, or were you expecting that?
I'm not sure we were expecting it to go as well as it has. I thought there'd be a little more growing pains just because of all of the incomers,
Sure.
New incomers. So I thought that we'd have a little bit more difficulty, but it was an unbelievable preseason. The guys worked extremely hard. They came in outstanding shape. So I'm not surprised by it, but I'm not sure we went in expecting it.
That's interesting. I'm going to talk a little bit about that because, you know, at this level, Division III level, kids go away for the summer, and sometimes they come back and might not be in terrific shape to start the season off. And yet you're saying that didn't hold true with this team. You were delighted when they came back.
Yeah, it's, I think the leadership we have, Danny Aguilar has now been here 3 years, Robbie Cooley has been here 3 years, Luke Pavone just got here in the spring, but I think their leadership styles and their communication to the guys over the summer was very important, and we haven't had that up to this point, and I think that everybody understood that to be an impact and to make this roster, they needed to be ready.
Well, let's talk about this guy next year. Tell me about the relationship. I know it goes back a little bit, and he's joined us now as a transfer, so how did you two reconnect here?
Well, first of all, when I was recruiting him as a senior in high school, that part of it was very late as well. Will had been very successful in high school and in club soccer.
In Rochester?
In Rochester, and he was on one of the best youth teams in the country with Empire. So it was, we were very fortunate to connect. We connected and just something clicked. He was only 17 at the time, and
he's such an old guy now.
Still very young, but he we got him into my institution before. We had a great year. He was named USCAA All-American.
Okay.
He had a lot of accolades that year, and unfortunately, the higher divisions sort of saw that.
Absolutely.
And took over. But, we were looking for a very solid goalkeeper this year, and me and Will had kind of kept in touch just as friends and as a mentor to him. And once he expressed his unhappiness, we went from there. And I think he just wanted to come back to an enjoyable environment where he knew he could be successful.
Well, you're nodding your head when he said the relationship aspect. There must be, a lot of recruiting is all about relationships, certainly about the institution. There's something there between you and Coach then.
Yeah. As soon as I left, we were still in contact. When I was playing at my other college, he came to a couple games.
Sure.
He texted me to see how I was going. So
yeah, great.
When he gave me the opportunity to come play here, it was a no-brainer.
You grabbed it.
Yeah.
Now I look at this guy, and he looks more like a linebacker on a football team than a soccer goaltender. Now I'm a bit naive on football, but he's 6 foot and 215. He's built. Not really standard operating procedure for a goalkeeper, or am I not correct in that?
I think if you look at a traditional goalkeeper now, especially professionally, they're very tall and slender. What he brings, goalkeepers around don't bring. He's fearless. He's going to attack the ball. He's going to hit someone if they're in the way. Coach Boys and Coach Oslands is already, I've seen them speaking to him off to the side.
Okay, football coaches, right?
But so it's I guess typically it's not.
Right.
But he brings something that typical goalkeepers don't bring.
When did you first become interested in being a goalkeeper?
I think how almost every goalie becomes a goalie. They just put him in, and they put him in. The only kid who wants to play. Is
that right?
I didn't want to run, so they put me in there. I had a decent job, and I think I was 8 years old. So then I just kept.
And it just stuck with you.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
So, ingredients to being a good goalkeeper. You're off to a tremendous start. One goal against, not even goals against, in almost 400 minutes. Has your play surprised you at all, or was this something you thought, I'm going to bring this to the table here at Buffalo State?
First off, I can't give the credit to myself. It's the back line, it's the midfield, it's the strikers. Coach put a great system in to not concede, and we've all bought into the system. I'm just doing my job that Coach asked me to do.
Okay.
I don't, as a whole, my play is on par with what I thought, and I'm not surprised with how the defense is playing either. Like I said, it's a defense that's doing everything.
Right.
I come up when I'm called upon.
Yeah, absolutely. Which brings up the identity of this team. You look at this guy and the defense, and up until yesterday it was 1 goal. Now it's 2 goals for the entire season. You could look at that as the defense as being the identity of this team, and yet you're scoring a lot of goals too. So is there an identity that we can pick out here, or is this just a well-rounded team right now?
Yeah, I want it to be exciting, but over the last 2 years, my first 2 years here, we've conceded way too many goals.
Okay.
And so in the off season and leading up to preseason, we really needed to make sure that you don't. It's very simple, but you don't lose games if you don't concede goals.
That's right. Absolutely.
And we've done that tremendously so far, but we've also got a lot of pace and a lot of skill going forward that even though at times we may sit back to let the team attack us, as soon as we win the ball, we can break, and in less than 5 seconds, we can score.
Wow.
So it's a little bit of both. I just want to make sure that the resilience is there, that they understand we do not concede goals.
There you go. Well, gentlemen, thanks very much for being on the show. Best of luck the rest of the way. Mark Howlett and William Banahene. That's a name we're going to remember over the next couple of years. Thanks a lot, guys. We're going to take a quick break. We're still going to talk soccer when we come back because women's soccer and Nick DeMarsh joins us. Stay with us. Well, congratulations are going out to Melissa Smith. She is this week's Tim Hortons Athlete of the Week from women's soccer. The junior scored the lone goal in a 2-1 overtime loss against Rochester on September 9th, and then scored again against her former team in a 4-2 win over Pitt Bradford. Melissa is an early childhood education major and leads the Bengals with 4 goals in 5 games this season. So congratulations going out to Melissa Smith, this week's Tim Hortons Athlete of the Week. And look who we have on the show here. Isn't that a coincidence? Women's soccer joins us. Nick DeMarsh, the head coach, and Jenna Smolinski, the junior midfielder from the Hamburg Bulldogs. We were just talking about that off camera. Nick, give us a little synopsis of the team, a little makeup of the team.
Well, we're a pretty tightly knit group. We've got a very good core of returners and some pretty special new additions to the team. We've got some nice experience, maybe not in terms of their class, but in terms of the players that really produced last year for us. Most of our starters from last year are back. We lost 2 seniors last year, one being a captain, but we've got 2 seniors this year that are our captains, and I'm pretty happy with the overall makeup of the team. Great.
Now, he said tightly knit, which means there's good chemistry. Do you sense that, Jenna? And so early in the season, too.
Yeah, we have a lot of good chemistry. I feel that there's a lot of diversity on the team with personalities, and it matches really well, and it creates good relationships with the players on and off the field.
That's terrific. It's interesting because when I look at the roster, you talked, well, we don't have a lack of experience, and yet there's only 2 seniors on the roster. So there's no change in strategy going into the training camp or anything like that. This is the core that was around last year as well.
Well, if you remember last year, we had a lot of freshmen.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of those freshmen had very good playing backgrounds and came in and were able to start. But there's always that transition. Mm-hmm. And they're over that now, and they're ready for the college level.
Okay.
The high pressure, the intensity, the physicality. So I think we do return a lot of experience, even though we don't have a lot of seniors on the team.
Okay.
I mean, do they have the opportunity to grow and get better? Absolutely.
Sure.
But this is the group going forward that I think, potentially could do big things.
Well, I'll ask you both. What's your impression so far? 5 games in, from a student athlete perspective, what's your impression of your team?
I think that we are going to have a lot of success this season.
Great.
We're a little bumpy with some of, silly goals that against us that we could have easily prevented, but we're a very attacking team, and we work really hard, and we're getting to learn each other's strengths and weaknesses of each individual player, and we're getting more positive, and I think it's all going to benefit us on the field.
And would you agree with that, Coach? You'd mentioned silly goals. You might have a different name for it, but when you look at the highlights and the film, do you sense that?
Well, we went into the season, and one of my goals as a coach this year was to have a plan B. The last couple of years we've been in the semifinals, and when we go down a goal, we need a way to press the other team in an organized way to get that back. So early on in the season, we've been playing a few different systems, one of which is more attacking, putting more players forward, which when you put more attackers out there,
something's got to give on the back end.
That's right. So, we've been kind of learning that.
Okay.
And how to prevent some of those silly goals. And you don't do that unless you have the experience. So some of the losses have been very valuable. We've learned we can't do that in that moment.
Right.
And the system has actually produced a lot of goals. Last year we lost to Pitt Bradford 1-0 on a set piece. This year we were able to put 4 in on them.
That's right.
And it could have been a lot more. So I think
it's interesting because when in past I've talked to you, and would I be incorrect in saying you have been a defensive stylist type coach?
Could be another issue for us because that is my philosophy. Yeah. Don't give up goals, and you're going to win games, and you're going to be in it at the end of the season.
Is this difficult for you to kind of tweak a little bit to go to more attacking, or is it something that you're kind of getting comfortable with?
It is, and I need to refocus because I don't want to be the team that concedes sloppy, loose goals. And we've done that this year. We've given up, I think, 3 or 4 goals that were really what I would consider bad goals.
Okay.
And that's not really our MO. Okay. So we're going to go back to it a little bit now and really get back to how we defend and then bring with us what we've already learned in the attack.
Okay. You had told me in your office when we were doing a little pre-production for the show that this young lady is the engine of the team. So I wrote that down. I said, what does he mean by that? What do you mean by the engine of the team as a midfielder?
Well, Jenna, she's in great shape. She worked really hard this summer. She can run all game. And when we press the other team, Jenna leads. She's the one that's getting around the ball, putting pressure on the other team, creating turnovers, creating interceptions, creating opportunities for her teammates just with her work.
Okay.
So for me, you know, when someone is carrying the flag into the battle, it's Jenna. She's the engine. She's what we want out of our players. She's the worker.
Now, how does that make you feel? I mean, when your coach is talking so highly of you like that? Not just because you're sitting here. You did that when you weren't sitting here either.
It makes me feel good. It allows me to hold responsibility for myself to not let go of that. And I know that I enjoy working hard, and I enjoy working hard because I know my team would do that for me. And I want to do everything I can that I am capable of doing in order to be successful this season for the team.
Fabulous. Is this a leader by example, or is this a leader also in the locker room with this, or do people just follow her because of this work ethic?
That's a good question. I think right now she's proving herself in the locker room, on the field. She's the doer.
Okay.
And I think once she really sets her roots down after this fall season, I think she'll become that leader in the locker room through her voice too. She's a very positive personality. She has a positive influence on the team. So I think we would like to groom her into a leadership position going forward.
Do you sit down with somebody like this and say, here, we want you to be this? And how does that conversation happen?
When Jenna transferred in, I told her I thought she had the personality to be a captain eventually. I don't think you can insert a captain as a transfer student when they first arrive.
Okay.
But once they demonstrate what they can do, I think that's definitely a possibility for anyone. And I think the new initiative that Buffalo State has with our Leadership Academy, that's a program that I'll want Jenna to attend, to kind of garner and gain those leadership skills and then bring that into the team. So.
And we should mention your transfer from Fredonia, and quickly, what about Buffalo State was to your liking? Why did you select Buffalo State?
Oh, I love the diversity here, and everyone's very accepting. Obviously, coach. He was my coach, before.
Absolutely. Sure.
And the team, I mean, it's nice coming into a college in general, knowing people on the team, but this team in particular was very accepting and very welcoming, and it was very easy to transition with having them.
Well, that's fantastic. Jenna, wish you the best of luck. Thanks for being our leader on the field and off the field. Nick, best of luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Tom.
We're going to take a break, but before we do, Rebecca Coleman's here with Bengal Update.
Hello and welcome to Bengal Update. I'm Rebecca Coleman here with the recap of news and a look at the upcoming events surrounding Buffalo State athletics. Football opened the season on Saturday, September 5th with a 29-0 win on the road at Otterbein. The Bengals limited the Cardinals to just 114 yards of offense in the first ever meeting between the teams. The shutout victory was the first since a 27-0 victory over the Apprentice School on October 22nd in 2005. Defensively, Shaq Frederick paced the Bengals with 16 tackles and a forced fumble. Trey Jones led the Buffalo State ground attack with 136 yards on 16 carries, including 2 touchdowns. The Bengals had the weekend off due to a bye week. Buffalo State returns to action on Saturday at 1 p.m. for an Empire 8 matchup at Alfred University. Men's soccer started off its season with 4 straight wins and a 0-0 draw before recording their first loss this past Tuesday afternoon against Rochester. The Bengals conceded a goal for the first time in nearly 551 minutes of open play in the 1-0 loss against visiting Yellow Jackets. Junior transfer Luke Pavone leads the Buffalo State offense with 8 points off 3 goals and 2 assists. The Bengals return to action under the lights at Clarkson in a non-conference matchup on Friday at 7 p.m. Women's soccer has opened up the season with a 2-3 record overall. The Bengals dominated Elmira 3-0 in the first game of the season before falling to 2 tough teams at the Farmingdale State Classic. 2 of the team's losses have come in overtime. Last weekend, the Bengals topped visiting Pitt Bradford 4-2 in a rain-soaked matchup. Junior transfer Melissa Smith leads the team offensively with 4 goals in 5 games. She is also currently ranked first in total shots and second in goals in the SUNY Conference. Volleyball opened up the season with 5 straight wins for the first time ever. The the Bengals also won the Cortland Red Dragon Classic tournament for the first time in 21 appearances at the tournament. This past week, Buffalo State faced some tough competition and lost 4 games at the Marcia French Invitational, hosted by Baldwin Wallace and Case Western. Rochelle Kelklin, who leads the Bengals defensively with 152 digs, was awarded all-tournament, all-team honors. Volleyball returns to action at RIT this weekend. The Bengals open with Alfred University and then Nazareth on Friday at 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. respectively. Cross country has competed in 1 race so far this season. The Bengals ran at the Doug Watts Distance Gala hosted by Edinburgh on September 5th. On the men's side, Mitch Rabold was the lead runner for Buffalo State with a 41st place finish and a time of 28 minutes and 33 seconds. Other point scorers for the Bengals, who finished in 6th place out of 9 teams, included Austin Becker, Ken Ryan, Kevin Murray, and Mohamed Gama. On the women's side, Kat McNamara paced the Bengals to a 4th place overall finish out of 8 teams after coming in 15th with a time of 20 minutes and 15 seconds. Also scoring points were Sheree Smith, Ronnie Quadruple, Elizabeth Wall, and Kaylee Cassidy. The Bengals return to action at Penn State Barron in Erie, Pennsylvania on Saturday, September 19th. Reporting for Buffalo State Athletics, I'm Rebecca Coleman. We'll be back for more Bengal Magazine after this short timeout.
Well, homecoming is fast approaching here at Buffalo State with the football game and the tailgate party preceding the football game in the sports arena on Saturday, October 3, when the Bengals take on St. John Fisher at Coyer Field. If you're interested in joining any of the festivities of homecoming, please check out the website that's listed on your screen. It's homecoming here at Buffalo State, October 3rd, when the Bengals take on St. John Fisher College at Coyer Field. And we go from football to, believe it or not, basketball. And we have a special guest, a new employee here at Buffalo State, the new women's basketball coach for the Bengals, and that's Kevin Clifford. And first, Kevin, welcome to Buffalo State and welcome to the show. The 8th head coach in the history of women's basketball here at Buffalo State. Gosh, you just got here Monday, and yet the camp opens in a month. What are the priorities? What are you doing on your 8, 10, 12-hour days right now?
Today's day 3, more like 12 hours, but
okay.
Just getting to know the school, getting to know the people, getting to know the team. We had a team meeting on Monday.
Okay.
Getting to know the campus, getting to know the staff, and then just one day at a time.
Yeah.
Baby steps. Camp does open October 15th, so we're excited. We're ready to go.
Right.
Seems like the players are working hard in the preseason.
Right.
So.
Well, it's interesting because it is step by step. You and I will be walking around campus, maybe trying to meet some people and going into halls to get you acclimated a little bit more. Tell the viewers who are new to you your background. First, where'd you go to school?
I'm from Woodside, Queens.
Okay.
I went to Holy Cross High School. Then I went to St. Thomas More Prep School for 1 year, and then I got a scholarship to Sacred Heart University.
So you played D1 ball there?
They were Division II for 2 years.
Okay.
And then my junior year, they went Division I, and Division I for 2 years.
So you got the New York background a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, as we can tell.
My brother went to Niagara, so I know the.
And I think is your brother not in the Niagara Hall of Fame?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he was a basketball player for the Purple Eagles. So it's in the bloodlines. I remember when you were interviewing, and I got back to my office and go, now this guy, now tell me if I'm way off base here, because I don't think I am. This guy's a gym rat.
Yes.
Would you describe yourself as a gym rat? And is basketball, you live, breathe, think everything about basketball?
A basketball junkie. A basketball junkie.
Sure.
I'm a basketball family.
Okay.
3 brothers. They all played. I played. I've been playing since I was 6 years old.
Okay.
Been coaching over 20 years. So we are a big basketball family. We have passion for it. So love coaching, love teaching.
Yeah.
And I love the competition.
Absolutely. Tell me, what piqued your interest in the Buffalo State job?
I think it's a great conference. A lot of history, a lot of tradition. The facilities are unbelievable. And the people I met on the interview were really nice and very helpful.
Thanks. I'll take that $20 now.
Especially you, Tom. Everybody's very helpful, and I just thought it was a good fit for me.
What can fans expect from this team? And what I mean by that is, is there a particular style of basketball you like to play and recruit for?
I think each year it will vary depending on your personnel. Some coaches just coach one way. We do adjust from personnel. So if you're tall, small, slow, quick. But we want to recruit fast-paced, up-tempo style.
Well, it sounds exciting. I can't wait. And put me in. I'm ready to play for you already. You're doing a hell of a job of recruiting right now. Well, Kev, you've got basically 30 days before camp opens. Get out of this studio and get to work. Appreciate you being on the show. We'll have you on during the season as well. Best of luck.
Thanks, Tom.
Well, thanks to Kevin Clifford, women's and men's soccer, and everybody here in Instructional Resources. That's going to be a wrap, and we'll see you in 2 weeks for more Bengal Magazine.